Hey everyone, on today's episode of the Mayor's Table, we're focusing on civility. We're talking to members of our Community Relations Commission about the traits of civility and the ways that they're trying to infuse that lesson right here in our community. The key is to be kind. Stay tuned. Hey everyone, welcome to the Mayor's Table. Farmington Mayor Nate Duckett, and with us today we have some special guests from our Community Relations Commission. We have our chairperson, Dale Leedy. Dale, thanks for being here.
And thank you, Mayor, for the opportunity to speak with you.
Absolutely. And Ron Price, who wears many hats in the community, as does Dale. But Ron Price also with us today. Ron.
Glad to be here, Nate. Thank you.
You're very welcome. I think it's a timely episode. The council received an update on what the Community Relations Commission was doing back in, I think, late April. But I thought this would be good information for folks to understand what the Community Relations Commission is. And sometimes what it isn't even, but just getting a full kind of array of what do they do. We have a number of advisory committees that serve at our pleasure as a council. I nominate people to fill these seats. The council approves them, and they've never denied one. I mean, I was worried about Ron, but they were like, no, we get it. We'll let Ron in. Twice, yes. And so I'm very proud of our advisory committees. I think it's a tremendous thing to serve your community in this way and provide your voice to the council on a number of important issues. And the CRC is one of those that at times can have some very important issues, but more of what I've seen lately is really a component of celebrating things that are good in Farmington and trying to highlight the positive things with the hopes that we can push that information out and emulate those people and those companies that are doing awesome things. So I think let's kind of talk about that today here on the show. But Dale, you've been on the commission now for 7 years, so thank you for that. I mean, you've seen a lot and been there, and kind of tell us what your experience has been on the CRC.
Well, it's really been an opportunity to work with the community, work with others in our community to find ways in which we can each respect each other better, ways we can foster mutual respect, and working together well, civility. And I've just found that, especially during the last couple of years, we're really bringing out that positive in our community, especially when we've gone through such a negative period as a country, as a
Sure.
world. It's nice to really highlight those things that we're doing well and we're doing good.
Yeah, there's a lot of things being thrown at us
as
human beings on a daily basis. And we all carry our own burdens, and it's interesting to me. You Matter is a really important group to me. They're a part of our San Juan Safe Communities initiative. But this group of young men and women share their story, and they share it to our middle schoolers, to our elementary school kids. But at the end of the year, they take time to tell their story to the audience, which is typically a bunch of parents and adults and the next class that's coming in. And the stories are, every time I walk out of there, I'm just reminded again, I don't know what this person's going through. Treating them with respect should be my utmost first responsibility, because I don't know where they're at. I don't know what's happening. Yeah. So, and I know this speaks really big to you, Ron.
Well, it does. Every generation thinks the next generation is strange, which comparatively they are. Every generation is different. But You Matter gives us hope for the next generation, that there are a lot of good kids out there that are trying to make good decisions, treat people the right way, and so forth. So I'm really glad you have that program. It's excellent.
Well, and I just continue to see, I believe, fruit bear itself from these kids, and the difference they're making in being kind of mentors and to the younger kids. If you step into an audience full of elementary school kids, you don't know how many of those kids haven't eaten today. You don't know how many of those kids are in an abusive household. You don't know how many of those kids are dealing with their own insecurities and trying to fit in. And those stories that are coming out from these seniors in high school really relate to that, and they're trying to say, hey, guess what? You're not alone.
And not only that, but if Dale's probably the youngest among us here, but if we go in, wow, they were an old guy, what do they know? Yeah. Those kids look up to the seniors in high school, and their message is going to be that much more powerful. And
so from that standpoint, the CRC, I see, is kind of that committee that's out there, because the individuals who serve on that committee, it's a very diverse group of people from many different backgrounds and professions, which is what I like about all of our advisory commissions, but it's just an intriguing component of the CRC, and the way they're out there really creating these initiatives to allow this community to celebrate. I want to talk a little bit about that. I mean, what are you guys doing in regards to that realm? And Dale, you touched on it. I mean, civility is kind of one of the key terms that we use, but we do have 10 traits of civility.
We do.
And we had an initiative, it's probably been 12 years ago. I think Tommy Roberts was still mayor at the time, and it was a Civility First campaign. And we've kind of taken that, and we're doing some other things with it. What are we doing with it?
Well, it's the Civility First program is lists 10 different traits that would exemplify what would be the components of a civil and respectful community in which for others to live and to do business, to vacation or visit. And so those components would be citizenship, courtesy, compassion.
I got him here too.
Yep.
Inclusiveness, yep.
Kindness.
Consideration.
Yep. Respect.
Inclusive, yep.
Responsibility, I like that one.
Tolerance. Tolerance is very important as well.
And sincerity.
Yeah.
I've heard once you can fake sincerity, you've got it made, but that probably didn't need to be said.
Well, and what you said, Dale, is the fact that it's for the people who live here to take care of one another, but it's also in regards to people coming from the outside in.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, and when we put these types of things as kind of the center point of who we are as a community,
Right.
I think people sense that.
They do.
Right.
And we become more welcoming as a community to others. You know, people come into our community and they feel comfortable and welcomed, and they want to do business and they want to move here or do, vacation here. And those are the type of things that keep us alive as a community as well.
Sustainability is key, and the E greater than P group, used to be the parent to Four Corners Economic Development, recognizing that our economy's got to be greater than our population. How do we continue to bring people in amidst the many challenges that we faced here with our local economy? The idea to me is that if we have a welcoming community, and when people come here, they see that there's a genuineness, there's sincerity in how people treat one another with respect, it bodes well for us. I mean, to be other than that, we would be sending the wrong message.
And you know better than we do, but don't we double on weekends with people from the surrounding area? So that's an opportunity to show folks who we are as a community.
Absolutely.
So a couple of things I hope we get to talk about. One, if somebody does have a bad experience with a business, we want to know about it. Not that we have any authority. We're certainly not going to go in and take their license or anything like that.
Yeah.
But we can be a middle person to go in and say, hey, here's a complaint. How are you aware of it? What happened? What's your side of it?
Sure.
What could be maybe done to correct it? So we've had that for several years.
That is one of the components of the CRC, is kind of being that mediator to kind of, I would say, help educate and guide both parties in regards to any particular situation. But
also see where we can do better.
Where we can do better.
And that's the important part. And to give some resolution to somebody who may not, be able to communicate directly with whom, the store or business that they've had a difficult situation with.
Right.
So,
yeah, we've had a recent case of that, and we found, at least in my experience in service here, that it's very rare. It may have been different prior to that, but I think when I speak to folks who are coming here from other places, the consistent messaging I'm getting is your people here are so friendly, and I think that's, and I make it a point. I live by the idea of anybody who's in my bay, right? If I'm a ship in a bay and there's other ships around, if I have the ability to make eye contact or speak, good morning, or hold a door for someone, I want to take that opportunity to do that, because we don't know what that day is like for that person.
Right.
You opening the door might reinvigorate them and say, there is hope in the world. Everything that I've just been beating myself up with, there are good people. But if we're all doing it consistently, just amazing what we can do.
So I think it's Jim Baker that says, be kind, because everyone you meet is fighting a hard battle.
Yeah.
And it's true. Life is glorious. Come on. I mean, I can't think of it. There's not a better country. There's not a better part of the country to live in. I'm biased, obviously.
Me too.
But life is hard. And if we can add a smile or add a little kindness to somebody's day, why not? It benefits them, but you know what? It benefits us as well.
No, I agree.
And doing that on a regular basis actually makes your life more positive. It's amazing the return that you get from it.
And so what we're trying to do is bring that more to people's awareness. So you know what? Yeah, I can smile at somebody today and make it my objective. I'm going to smile at 5, 10 people.
Right.
Get people more aware and thinking about it. It's going to happen even all the more.
You know, the other part of it too is the human to human connection. You know, so much has been taken away by your handheld devices. You know, people just dive into those things, and all of a sudden they're losing communication. Somebody said the other day, if you've got time to scroll, you've got time to make a phone call. Make a phone call to your mother, to your brother, to your friend, to somebody that, you know, just, and that's interesting because that's what we would have done.
Right.
Not that many years ago, actually.
Not that long ago, but would have continued this connection. And then the other part to me too is all the delivery services. You know, the grocery store to me is just an opportunity to go out and be a part of the community.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Even traveling recently with my wife, I've made it a point, like we're going to the grocery store. Like I want to go in because I feel like when I go in there, I can kind of sense of what's happening here in this community and how people treat one another. And you can learn a lot from a grocery store.
We do the exact same thing, actually. Every time we go on vacation, we make it a point to go to the grocery stores, go to a couple of little mom and pop shops, and just get a feel for the community.
Yeah.
Somebody once said, I don't know who, but we're more connected than ever before with the technology that you're citing. We're more disconnected as well than ever before because of that, because we're relying so much on that rather than the person to person.
Your middle term here is relations, you know, and the human relations is what separates us from the ability to communicate the way that we can communicate from all other animals and beasts on the world. Communicate in their own ways, but just to this level where our ability to build things, to innovate, to all those things have come out of communication with one another in order to achieve common goals. So one of the major common goals for me is make somebody's day. I mean, it's a simple thing to do, and that's what I think you guys are doing as well.
You know, before we move on from that, though, I often challenge people. I've been in airports lately. Take 30 seconds. Next time you're at the mall or the airport, some large group, 30 seconds, smile at people, make eye contact, smile. And then take 30 seconds and frown. And you know what's going to happen. The smile, when you're smiling, they're going to smile back at you. When you frown, people are going to frown back at you. We have that kind of impact, and sometimes we forget that for the good and for the bad.
So if I extrapolate that exact sentiment to social media, you know, if you complain about something on social media, it'll be very quick. You're going to have consensus. People see that and they want to complain. But if you post something positive, you're also going to see that same thing. You know, it's just going to be a different audience.
It is.
Who's going to decide to post?
And sometimes you feel like you're going, you know, swimming upstream, but it is what it is. You very quickly gain that other group that's going to support you and say, hey, yeah, you're right. You know,
I always caution folks. You know, I just did a recent luncheon with our realtors, and you know, if I have a bad experience in a business, okay, I feel capable to go and talk to the manager, to talk to the owner, to talk to whoever's on duty, just like, hey, you know, just want to make you aware. I love coming to your place, but this thing happened, and I don't feel like it was right or whatever the case may be. I don't take that information out to social media.
No.
You know, we've got a lot of small businesses here that have good reputations, and I've seen some things recently online, and I'm like, why take the time out of your day to do that? If you've got the issue, call them. They're probably going to be receptive to it. They're trying to build up their customer base. They're trying to make it just like everybody else is. But to go on social media and use that platform in that way I don't think that's what it should have been intended for. I mean, I guess you can go to Yelp. Yelp is made for that specific kind of thing. But always take the time and go and talk to the people in charge, you know? It's not a hard thing to do, and it would be so much more meaningful for you as the individual to get a response directly from the source as opposed to, hey, I had this experience, and then all of a sudden everybody else is, you know.
But you might be helping that business actually find a problem they didn't even realize they had.
That's a really good point.
You know, and that's just you not speaking about that. How many others didn't say anything either, and now it becomes a loss of customers, loss of revenue.
Right.
So
I've heard most every culture has some form of the golden rule in their culture. And what would it be like if somebody wants to complain? Pause for a moment, think, would I want somebody to do that to me?
Sure.
Do unto others as you would have them do. And if people would put just that one filter, might make them think twice or three times before they send out that caustic.
Yeah, we just had this Sermon on the Mount actually preached to us when we were in Auburn. So very timely for the golden rule.
There you go.
But no, that's good. You should have that introspection. I mean, I really do. And I think about that even when talking with others, when we talk about courtesy and respect, a lot of times things come to our brain that should not come out of our mouths. Right?
Oh, yeah.
You think?
Take the time to think about just a moment, just a pause to say, I'm about to say this thing, but would I want that person to say that back to me? Would it be better if I had that conversation on the side? Or would it be better if I handle this in a different way? Or should I give that person grace? Which could be another one of those civility first traits.
Absolutely.
It's just grace. I mean, I feel like we're so quick to criticize anymore, and it's unfortunate that I feel like our culture's kind of moved in that way. But grace is such an important part of your daily ability to connect with people.
And I think the majority of the time you find that what you wanted to say, if you take that pause, wasn't so important to say.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of times we find that nothing needed to be said, and it resolves itself on its own.
Something that I've learned that's helped me, there's a big difference between reacting and responding.
Very much
We
so.
react from the emotional brain. You hit me, I hit you. You say something bad to me, I say something bad to you. Responding is taking just a few moments, thinking about, hey, do I want to make this worse, or is there something I can do to make the situation better? And we don't, I mean, again, the default is reacting, and that's usually when we say, oops, I shouldn't have done that or shouldn't have said that.
Right.
Well,
And somehow learn to respond, we'd be a whole lot better off.
Yeah, and you become part of the solution rather than part of the problem.
There you go.
Yeah. Well, and you can maintain a relationship better when response
Absolutely.
overrides reaction. You know,
Absolutely.
that goes for any type of relationship. And certainly in the corporate world or in big organizations, I mean, it's very vital. You know, one of my worst stories was as a manager at Hastings, and I had received an email from the CEO that came through one of our district managers about some things, and I immediately had a reaction to it. And I write this email back, who I thought it was going to my district manager, who we had a very candid relationship, and it ended up in the CEO's inbox.
Is that why you're not at Hastings anymore?
No, that's not. No. So, yeah, I get a phone call from the regional manager who said, "What do you think you're doing? Are you having a bad day?" And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" Well, you just did this thing. And I went, "Oh, no." Well, fortunately, I've been with the company for a long time at that point, and I had a relationship with the CEO, so I called him and apologized, and he said, "You know, Nate, I'm just going to give you a lesson that I think you can take with you. President Eisenhower would always make it a point that if he wrote a letter in response to somebody, he would put that letter in his drawer and let it sit overnight, and then go back to it the next day and determine whether or not that was a letter he should have sent." And I thought, that's brilliant. Yes.
Famous story about Abe Lincoln. So we found a scathing letter in his trash. I say we. They found.
Ron, you were there.
I was
gonna
there.
say,
I remember it.
Incredible.
No, but
I was gonna say,
he
you were
wrote
an old
he
guy,
wrote a
but-
scathing letter to one of his generals who went directly against one of his orders, and apparently it was a
Big deal.
yeah. But
Wow.
they found it in his trash because he didn't send it. He sat down and wrote a different letter that was more responding than reacting.
Right. It's just important lessons. You know, we're all trying to make it through this life, and understanding some of those and practicing those important components is key.
And being aware. And again, I think that's why we're trying to promote these traits. You know, I should focus on just today on being more respectful. Tomorrow I'll focus on being more considerate. But pick one a day or one a week and focus on that. It's going to become more natural to us.
And it makes a person more than just an individual. They become part of the community because that you're building your community.
So one of the things on this community recognition program, because I think you brought it up, the quarterly recognition focus, but let's go through this real quick. What is the community recognition program?
Well, it's a program that allows for citizens or others in our community, like visitors, anybody that's here, that sees a business and or nonprofit that just exemplifies one of those Civility First traits, gives them an opportunity to nominate them for an award and recognition. So it helps them really point out that business or nonprofit that needs to stand out, needs to be brought up to recognition, so that we can all see this is what it is to be civil. This is what it is to be part of our community, and give them an opportunity. Just like you said, there's a lot of people complaining and writing scathing things like that. This is that counter to that.
Sure. And for somebody, because I can think of just now, I think a handful of businesses that I believe are exemplary in many of these. But if somebody is watching and they would like to nominate somebody, how do they do it?
Well, you can do it by going online to the farmingtonnm.gov site, and there's a link on the Community Relations Commission page. You can also pick up a handwritten one at the City Hall and the library.
Good deal. Yeah, I can think of a number of them, and we do some of these business of the years things with the chamber and through Forsed, but this is very specific, to those civility first kind of traits. So I think it would be good for our community we'd love, if we could do one of these, once a month, would be huge. One of the things we've done as a council, and really this was an initiative of mine, there's a lot of organizations, national organizations, who want proclamations. Proclaiming this day, that day, or this week, that week. And I kind of moved away from that early on during my time, because a lot of those national organizations don't necessarily operate here in the city of Farmington. Now, if there is a representative here and there's a program here that's affiliated with that, I want them to come to council. I want them to come to council and tell us what you're doing and give us some examples, and let's celebrate, how you're making this community better through this way. And so we've created the Mayor Citizenship Award that's kind of built on this, and the 4 traits we focus on, and some of this is out of here: citizenship, stewardship, civility, and service to others, and really pushing that. And Dale, you mentioned earlier, when you make those efforts to provide good service or a smile or a thank you or whatever the case may be, it does come back to you. I believe it comes back to you tenfold.
Absolutely.
Service, in the movies, back in the movies old days, I remember there was, what is the one key to life? What is the one thing? And you'd see them talk about it in the movies. And for me, it's service to others.
It is.
There's all these things, but if you are willing to give more of yourself than what you're taking in, man, you're going to be living all right.
Absolutely.
I think another truth, too, is you tend to get what you're looking for. Not always.
Yes.
But if you're looking for the negative, it's out. Absolutely. You don't have to look very far.
Nope.
If you're looking for the good, you're more likely going to see it.
Yeah.
And that's what we're trying to encourage people to. There's a lot of good about living in this area. Look for
much
it.
good.
And that's something my grandmother used to always say, is look for the positive in everything. There's a positive in everything out there.
Yep.
It's your job to find it and make sure that you point it out.
And we want to recognize that, as you were just discussing, so that it can become more the norm. Hey, they did me a good. They went above and beyond. Courtesy and respect should be expected.
Right.
But some places go above and beyond, and we want to recognize them. And
Sure.
Well, as our economy has changed, we really want to encourage those type of interactions with people, those relations with anybody that comes into our community.
Yep.
We want them to come back. It's going to help our economy continue to grow, as well as our community to grow. If you look at housing and everything here, it seems like we are growing.
Sure.
It seems like people are wanting to live here. That was one of the things that kept me here. I came here, and it was the community that made me want to call this place home.
No doubt.
And I did. So those are the things I really think that we need to focus on.
I agree.
If we want to sustain ourselves.
We're kind of on an island here, Ron. Up here in the northwest corner of the state. There's no major interstates.
No.
We did get air service back.
Yes,
very nice. Yeah.
We're working on rail.
Yeah.
Those are all very positive things. But we are kind of an island, and we need to take care of one another and kind of have that general attitude about things. And if we could stop people from driving crazy, which makes everybody's day worse.
We ought to bring back the yellow license plates. Caution, you're driving with a New Mexican, and we ought to put them on the front of the car too. Now, anyway, sorry.
Yeah. Well then, that's another sentence.
No, it is. It's the climate.
Yep.
Typically,
Oh, yeah.
I've been to places, the humidity in some
absolutely.
places. I was just up in Marquette, Michigan. They got 4 feet of snow in
Oh,
one
my gosh.
setting. No, I come back on flying into Farmington. I don't kiss the ground, but no, I'm grateful. It's,
Right.
We've got a lot of good going for us
There's
here.
not too many places you can have 12 seasons either.
Well,
12
in one
seasons,
day.
yeah.
In one day, yeah, stop it.
Yeah, we don't have spring. We have wind.
Yeah.
Spring has been replaced with wind. Knock on wood. It's been pretty good so far.
It has
this
been
year. Not
beautiful.
too bad at all. It's
Yeah.
been really, really nice out there.
And just to put a smile on your face, all we need is 30 more pickleball courts.
30 more?
Yeah.
All right. That's the number.
Okay.
I'm glad we got that down.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll put that on the list.
Yeah.
No.
All right, I was kidding, but I'm going to tell you, if everybody would act like typical pickleball players, I travel,
Yeah.
and I bring my paddle with me, and I've not yet met a place where they're not welcoming and hey, how are you? Come join us, and it's a good organization of people that they want to win, many of them, but
Sure.
they're to have a good time and get along, and have a good time. And
Just
so,
know the rules.
yeah.
But you'd
We have
mentioned-
classes for that, but
Right, right. You'd mentioned earlier about the teens and whatnot, and the You Matter campaign. That's something we're actually trying to work on with the CRC. Is we're trying to give an opportunity for the teens and tweens to come out and speak and have some voice in how they feel in our community.
I like that.
What things do they want us to, they want to see focused on? How do they feel the community has accepted them, and what impact they have in the community?
Aren't we looking to have one on our boards?
We are. We'd like to be able to have somebody on our board.
Gotcha.
Even if it's an ex officio position, just that represents that teens, tweens
Sure.
group. I mean, a lot of our students come out of school wanting to know what they can do.
Right.
What impact are they going to have in the community? And we want them to want to stay here too.
I like that.
So them having a voice is just an amazing, amazing opportunity for us to also hear, as a bunch of old people, what matters to them, because they're the generation that really does matter.
For sure. Yeah, I don't feel old.
No, I mean,
But I certainly
you're not.
But I'm certainly looking in the mirror every day going,
I took my mirrors down.
My mother asked me to shave, this part of my beard off, because if I just have my goatee, she says, you look younger. And I said, well, Mom, if you want to go do that, you could dye your hair black again, and then we'll both be younger.
On a different note.
Yeah. But anyways, yeah. Anything else, guys, that we want to make sure the community's aware of regarding the CRC?
Again, I want to emphasize the quarterly recognition. We're trying to focus on a couple of traits each time.
I like it.
So for July to September, we're focusing on kindness and compassion. And again, hopefully you're seeing that in various establishments.
Sure.
Or nonprofits,
That's
as
correct.
you said. Let's focus on that. Let us know, and we'll give, we're not giving huge Oscar awards or whatever, but recognition
community
that people
recognition.
can put up in their location. And
that's not to say that any time during the year they can't nominate somebody for any of the traits. We'll take a nomination anytime all year long.
that's true too.
But Q4, you're looking at tolerance, respect, and inclusiveness.
There you go.
Yep. And then it circles back around. First quarter is sincerity, courtesy, and then Q2, citizenship, consideration, and responsibility.
Yep.
But yeah, I think any time can nominate any business, and then same thing for the Mayor Citizenship Award. I mean, if there's an individual out there, I mean, we've had so many folks. We've had soccer coaches. We've had teachers. We've had, just a number of people that without this person doing this thing, like, the world would be a worse place. They're really making a positive difference. So,
And again, not to end on a negative note, but sometimes we do get, and especially, how do I say this carefully, racially mistreated, or for whatever reason. If somebody feels they've been mistreated by a business or a nonprofit, we need to know. We need to do what we can to say, hey, that's not acceptable here. That's not who we are as a community. So we want to recognize both. Obviously, we'd like to get more of the positives.
Absolutely.
Hello, but if somebody's been mistreated, please give us a chance to be an intermediary.
but first, go to the business.
Yes,
My
absolutely.
one thing.
Yeah, but you said it earlier. You have the confidence to do that. Many
Some
people
people
don't,
don't.
and that's
People don't.
fine.
Sure.
That's fine.
Yeah.
That's
But,
not a,
That's a valid
Also,
point.
we'd like to invite anybody that would like to join one of our meetings. Come out and listen to us. We're the first Thursday of every month at 4 o'clock, and it's in the Executive Meeting Hall at City Hall. They're welcome to come in and sit in. There is a public speaking portion of that. If you want to speak up and give your 2 cents, you're more than welcome to. We'd love to hear it.
Right. Gentlemen, thanks for being on the show.
Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think we opened some eyes on the CRC and kind of what our mission is, and I hope folks out there kind of understand it and appreciate that within this community, this city organization, that there is a component of it that's really dedicated to that end. But really, it's up to us as community members to carry that messaging forward. And,
Absolutely.
just challenge everyone out there. Make someone's day. It's a simple task, but I think you'll find it to be such a benefit to your own psyche and your own personal health.
Absolutely.
To do those things. But
Be kind.
be kind. Yeah. Dale, Ron, thanks for being here today.
Thank you, Mayor.
Appreciate you both, and thank you all for tuning in. Hope the summer is going great for you. Lots happening here. Late summer coming up in the fall, so get out there, explore, enjoy this beautiful area that we call home, and we'll see you here next time on the Mayor's Table.